what is climate change? I mean, I think the question that the young lady asked over here is very valid. Young people are highly intelligent, but I wonder whether they're being told, or which they're entitled to, all the facts in relation to this.
Oh my
when I asked, well, just about Alice, you've been speaking for most of the night. When I asked Tanya Plibersek, was the Deputy Leader of the Labor Party and the potential Deputy Prime Minister, was carbon dioxide the big issue in relation to climate change? And she said yes. I then said, well, that being the case, what percentage of the atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide? What is causing climate change? Is it carbon dioxide?
Yes, carbon dioxide pollution is a major contributor.
OK, so can I ask you, this is not a trick question, what percentage of the Earth's air is carbon dioxide?
Oh, I don't know.
And I say, hang on, you don't know what percentage of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide, and yet you're prepared to stand the economy on its head to address a problem, the detail of which you don't know. So when I then explained that the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, Alice, is how much? Alice? How much of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere?
To answer the question, Scott Morrison has said he believes in climate change and that he wants to do something about it.
Alice, how much carbon dioxide is the problem? How much carbon dioxide is there in the atmosphere?
I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I'm a
well, hang on. If you're going to argue the case, you ought to know. It's 0.04%. And of that 0.04%, human beings around the world create 3%. And of that 3%, Australia creates 1.3%.
What's going on, everyone? Starts Kenny here today. We're going to be analyzing this spectacular broadcaster and how he just destroys it destroys this whole narrative with the climate changers, climate activists, and it highlights a big problem in our knowledge system. I talk about this concept about a knowledge system. A knowledge system essentially is acceptable or pre-assumed knowledge about a topic. For instance, if you talk about racism, you automatically imagine that Black people are disproportionately affected because this has been socially kind of conditioned in us to assume that is the case. This is the public knowledge that I'm talking about. And climate change has fallen into the same kind of scenario where we're all conditioned, we're all have this presumption that it's an actual problem in our society, when in reality, it's a very exaggerated problem. Climate change has been around. These climate change activists, these climate change scientists has been making these claims for decades. Over what 50 decades? I don't know how many decades these people have been talking about, oh, we're going to go into blue smoke in 2001. Oh my God, the Atlantic ice cap is going to melt. And prediction after prediction after prediction has been wrong. And now, right, they come in here expecting us, the younger folks, to just fall line, hook, line, and sinker. And I think what this broadcaster done something very, I think needs to happen more often, is challenge these people. Hey, you want us to change our entire society. You claim that you know the solution to address climate change, but you don't even know the specifics of the problem that is causing the very thing you're complaining about. Make it make sense. If you don't even know the problem, how the hell would you know the solution? And this is something that we all need to question these zealots, because end of the day, in my view, I learned about the zealot corner. And it's this false idea that the zealot corner only applies to religious people. No, I think the zealot corner is an idea that applies to any ideology, any philosophy, that when it's not grounded in reality, it can become dogma. That's what it is. This is dogma. This is dogma to justify giving up power, giving up your rights, right? Tyrants never come up to you and say, hey, I want to oppress you. I want to rule over you. Tyrants, dictators always say, I'm here to help, right? They always tell you, oh, I'm the only one that can save you. Oh, I'm going to give you this great life. And this is why I'm saying that this is why all the information is not given to you. Taxing people into poverty will not change the weather. Some climate change people believe that's the case, right? Because climate change is something that only first world people can complain about, can worry about. If you're a third world country, second world country, you're not worrying about climate change. You're worrying about surviving. You're worrying about thriving and building a foundation to actually become a first world country, right? More than 11,000 scientists signed a paper arguing the world needs to stabilize or gradually reduce global population. And this is the biggest argument I have against climate change activists, is that they don't care about the prosperity of human the human condition. Because at the end of the day, the human condition relies on bending nature into our will, right? Because end of the day, as a human being, right? I'm taking this from a human first perspective, right? I don't care about climate change. Climate change doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is climate danger. How dangerous is the climate change to human survival? No climate change activist argues around that parameter. They only argue about, oh my God, we need to protect Gaia Earth, Mother Earth. And this is the problem I'm starting to notice, is that a lot of these people who condemn religion, hate religion, they have taken these ideas in a religious way, a religious circumstance. And I'm starting to understand, and I'm starting to observe that a lot of our behavior, religion might be something ingrained in human nature, the need to believe in something greater than ourselves. I think that is a part of human nature, because that's the only way I can explain how a group of people will push ideas that is detriment to their own living standards, to their own condition, for the good of the planet. Like, make it make sense. Here's a warning from Jordan Peterson. This is something that has been kind of fueling my skepticism. The whole 97% of scientists agree thing has seriously come apart. When scientists become activists, science become politics. Isn't that not true? Didn't we just get hit with trust the science? Didn't we get people get called conspiracy theories for being skeptical of so-called experts pushing a certain worldview, right? Consensus, all it really means is the mainstream media only put people in front of you that they agree with. They only give a voice to people that they deem as worthy in front of you. And they filter out all the scientists that goes against their worldview. Thomas Sowell is the biggest example. If you're a conservative, someone on the moderate, someone in the middle, Thomas Sowell is the cautionary tale of what mainstream media and these media companies have done for the longest time. They act as gatekeepers of information, gatekeepers of distribution. And this is the game I'm kind of playing in. Knowledge distribution. Distribute knowledge that goes contrary to the popular opinion. And this is why something, if it's usually popular, is usually not good, in my view anyway. With none of the built-in controls, ignite, he always uses words that I'm not familiar with, but hey, that's why I like Jordan Peterson. In the actual political system, a deterrent to the scientific and political endeavors alike. And this is a cautionary tale for us all, that when you don't have all the facts, people can lead you down a corner. And this is Professor Feynman. This is a guy that I look to as like somewhat of an intellectual detective that I like to use when I want to validate knowledge. The problem is not people being uneducated. The problem is that people are educated just enough to believe what they've been taught. Doesn't this sound like the college system today? The college system overwhelmingly dominated by liberals, right? Isn't this where these young people get this idea about climate change? It's been pushed heavily in our schools. A lot of these ideas, right? You're educated enough to not question anything from what they have been taught. This is wokeism. This is wokeness. This is social justice. This is social justice. This is activism. This is why their schools are more concerned about producing activists than actual people that gives an actual functional benefit to society. Telling you that, the Green New Deal, all we got to do is tax the rich into poverty, build society in this way, give up control, give up rights, right? Reduce your population for our ends. And we just merely using climate change as the justification, right? Something that carbon emissions, something that is only 0.04% of the atmosphere. Human beings are only responsible for that 3% of that 0.04%. Exaggerated. Climate change is exaggerated, right? But you got these people, these zealots, I'll call them, these climate zealots, Al Gore, fear-mongering, trying to scare you into giving up power. Give up your rights to us. Give us control of your life. Let us ban gas stoves. Let's pass draconian laws to force you to get electric cars that will benefit our guys in the green energy sector. How is this not a version of redistribution of wealth? How is this not a way of rigging the system? How is this not crony capitalism? Hey, start a green company. Why? We're about to pass laws to force Americans by 2035 to switch to electric cars. Go start one. The Rivians, end of the day, no one can deny that stuff is not going on. You can't really deny that. Look at Nancy Pelosi, the best stock trader in the world, making millions of dollars. You don't think insider ball is being played here? And this is why I want a more decentralized government. I think the government has not been broken up enough. This is why I'm an advocate for more localized government. I believe states should have more power now more than ever because it's crap like this. These so-called experts are using their positions of authority to push a political worldview. Even if the facts goes against their worldview, facts be damned. I want a narrative. I want you to believe a certain thing that I want you to believe. And this is the mentality of a lot of people on the left. This is why they hate critical thinkers. This is why they hate people who are skeptical of them, their worldview, and their ideas. This is why they're quick to call you conspiracy theory, because they know they don't got nothing else to debate on. That's why they call you a climate change denier. Yes, I'm a denier because you don't have any evidence. Just like an atheist can be considered a denier because I don't have enough evidence to actually convince him that God exists. How I'm not the same as an atheist? Like, make it make sense. These people talk on both sides out of their A. And look at it. She look at it as blasphemy. Oh, I'm not an expert. I'm not the priest. You should talk to the priest about that. But look at the evidence. You're exaggerating the problem. You're catastrophizing the problem to fear-monger people into just going along with your agenda. This is why I said the Democratic vote and people on the left are the most ignorant, the least informed people. Because, like I said, they're educated enough to think they know what they're talking about, right? Let's go back to the quote from Professor Feynman, right? The problem is that people are educated just enough to believe what they have been taught and not educated enough to question everything that they have been taught. That's the point. And then when we try to give you information, people say, oh, no, I lost brain cells listening to you, Kenny. Oh, really? How? Or did I just hurt your feelings? I think it's the latter. I think I hurt your feelings. That's why, you just want to call me names. But this is the levels to this, right? So let's wrap up the video. I want to give my final thoughts on this clip because this man went in. Oh my God. Why can't we have more broadcasters like this? And I think I want to raise that level of discussions that's surrounding a lot of these ideas and not just it being a shouting match like the American in the America's Congress halls, chambers between. I ain't going there. Let's continue.
To answer the question, Scott Morrison has said he believes in climate change and that he wants to do something about it.
Alice, how much carbon dioxide is the problem? How much carbon dioxide is there in the atmosphere?
I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I'm a
well, hang on. If you're going to argue the case, you ought to know. It's 0.04%. And of that 0.04%, human beings around the world create 3%. And of that 3%, Australia creates 1.3%. But if carbon dioxide is 0.04% of the atmosphere, and human beings are responsible for 3% of that 0.04%, and Australia is responsible for 1.3% of the 3% of the 0.04%, it's like saying there's a granule of sugar on the Harbour Bridge. Clean the bridge up, it's dirty. Surely if a political party doesn't know the quantum of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, what the hell are we standing the economy on its head for? Demonising coal-fired power, driving everyone into renewable energy, which is not available, not reliable and not affordable, plonking us in electric cars.
All that's facts, by the way. I mentioned this before. The most cost-effective, efficient energy source in the world right now is fossil fuels. That's objectively the reality. This is why China's burning so much coal to produce fossil fuels and all that stuff. Carbon monoxide be damned. You just heard it. Humans only contribute to 3% of 0.04 of the carbon monoxide available in the. Come on. So that means all the carbon that we've been burning so far has not made a dent into the atmosphere. Fear-mongering is usually just means of control, right? The only reason that America and these first world countries have an abundant access of energy is the fact that we've been burning fossil fuel, the most cost-effective energy source in the world. Second to that is nuclear. Solar and wind are unreliable. They only are managing 5% of the world. And look at all the taxpayer money we put behind it. Look at how governments just dumped so much money behind solar and wind. And 20 years, 30 years went by, and it only can maintain 5% of the energy infrastructure of the entire world. Make that make sense. But you want to keep throwing money into a fire. This is what I'm talking about. Government can't push change. Government can only build incentives. And the incentives are all built wrong. The incentive is all waste money. This is why the government is such a bad actor when it comes to providing solutions. This is why nothing ever gets done in a political sense. Because the government does not suffer any negative consequences for being wrong, for being inefficient, for wasting money. Arguing for climate change. Oh, you're just funding these useless studies, these useless things to put money in the pockets of your friends, of your constituents. And you're going to get kickback somehow. How can I not say that all the data suggests that climate change spending is merely a Ponzi scheme to enrich their friends and their donors? How I know that's not the case? The same argument that the left like to make about the Republican Party and how they're in the pocket of the NRA, I can make the same thing about the climate change people. Oh, you're getting paid to say that, AOC. You're getting paid because all your donors will benefit from it. All these green energy movements, they'll benefit from it. When in reality, there wasn't a problem here in the first place. You're fear-mongering. Well, I digress. Let's wrap up the video.
Giving us nearly the dearest electricity in the world when we're rich in energy resources, exporting coal so that China and India and Japan can have cheap electricity. And we sit here swallowing this ideological rubbish, putting industry at risk, jobs at risk, and burying the economy.
True words has never been spoken. My goodness. Rubbish. Garbage. Right? But, if you do your own research, it may lead you into misinformation. Doing your own research is dangerous, says experts. This is why they don't want you to do your own research. Because they can't control the access to information. And I'll end off this video with this. Frederick Douglass had a quote that I live by. This is why I have so much books behind me. This is why I want to homeschool my kids, at least in their formative years, is that a man who can read is forever free. And the sentiment of that statement is the fact that if you can control, the world's your oyster. If you dictate what information you're exposed to or whatnot, if you know how to seek for information, no one can mislead you. No one can essentially stop you. A questioning mind is a terrible thing to waste. So use it wisely. I'll end it off there. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about climate change? When did you wake up to the fact that climate change statistics, these prediction models are exaggerated, misinformed, blatantly wrong, skewed, right? I want to know when you guys came to a realization or began questioning the climate change narrative. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.